Hey guys, welcome to another edition of The Way Online. Pastor Nick, Pastor Alex here. Thank you so much for being with us. Remember, if you're watching this channel alone, share it with your friends, all that stuff. Make sure you subscribe, all those fun things. But again, we just want to say thank you. It's been a crazy year. It's continuing to be even more strange, but you taking the time to watch this, and we want to say thank you. You don't have to do it, but you do it, and so we're just super appreciative of it. In the beginning of January, we started a brand new series for the new year called Fresh Start. How you and I, from 2020, we need a fresh start. And last week, we talked about the concept of fresh perspective, that you and I need to view our lives through a different lens. We talked about the life of Moses and how Moses, he fled Egypt, was just a shepherd, had this encounter one day with a burning bush, and everything changed in that moment. And his perspective shifted, and he became this great guy that helped free the people out of Israel. It was awesome. This week, we're going to talk about purpose. So, in order for us to have a fresh perspective, we have to understand our fresh purpose and what our purpose is. Have you? When's the last time that you evaluated and that you kind of thought about what your purpose is? You and I, Pastor Alex, Christians, we all have the same purpose: is to make Jesus known. And to, when we get to heaven, it's not just to get there before everybody else, but try to bring as many people with us as possible. All the avenues of our purpose look different, but we all have one central purpose as Christians. But when's the last time you really sat down and you evaluated that? I was looking up the word purpose, and purpose is a verb. It says have as one's intention or objective. That's what purpose is. Have as one's intention or objective. And so purpose is not something that we just live, it's something that we do. Like you and I are called to do something for Christ, to go out and preach the gospel and to do that. And it says in Daniel chapter 1, verse 8, it says, "But Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with a portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself." Breakdown.
So at this time, Daniel is probably roughly 13 years old.
13.
So probably the same age as
How
some
many
of
of you are 13? Leave a
right?
comment.
There you go. So roughly 13 years old, and he was going through this crazy tragedy. It's a tragedy. It's insane what he's going through. His hometown was invaded by a foreign nation, and then everybody around him was killed almost. Lots of things were destroyed, and then to top it all off, they take him captive and take him all the way back to a new land, Babylon.
You thought 2020 was bad.
Oh, it was bad for Daniel, right? Daniel is going through it. So this nation's name, like I said, is Babylon, and they were known for doing these kind of things, where they go into places, destroy stuff, and take people captive. The reason to take people captive was that they took the people that looked good, that looked like they'd be smart, all these other things, and so they took them in order to make them officials or to basically brainwash them into making sure that they followed their own customs and their way of thinking, their way of eating, everything. So that way, this new nation that Babylon just took over would easily become part of Babylon. And that was the purpose of it. That's what they were trying to do. They wanted to do these things. Now, many of the Israelites actually saw value in this. They would be taken captive. They saw an opportunity for a new, fresh start, right? They saw an opportunity for a fresh start. I'm going to leave everything that I had to do back there in Israel. I was tired with all that stuff anyways. Obviously, it didn't work, right? I'm now in a new nation. I have to do, I'm going to forget it. I'm starting over. I'm starting over. I'm going to start over, and I'm going to start over with a new God and a new set of values. And that's what a lot of Israelites thought. They were tired of following their own God and decided that the change was actually nice. But Daniel, even at the age of 13, decided something different. As the verse says, it says that he purposed within himself, meaning that he chose within himself that he was going to make a decision to not defile himself. And this isn't just a simple, I'm not going to defile myself with the food. It was also something that lived the rest of his life, that he was in Babylon all the way until he was even 80 years old. Yeah. He lived with this idea that I'm going to purpose within myself that I am going to choose God's values over my own values. See, it wasn't just about food. It was about not allowing these people to change his own value system. It was about not allowing these people to change who he worshipped. So he purposed within himself to do this. Daniel knew that God was the only true God, and so he didn't want to give in to their commands. As the story goes, it turns out that Daniel was found to be the best of all the people enslaved, even though he didn't fully give in to what they demanded. So God continued to show him favor as he was in the land of Babylon. And we see that he was put into high-ranking positions. He continually was one of the best. But yet he held on to God's values, the values that God instilled in him. And because he purposed within himself at a very young age to make sure that he stayed true to God.
Yeah. I have a question for you as we end. Have you thought about where you stand with God? Or do you just assume you're good because you grew up in a Christian home or you attend church? There's so many Christians out there and so many people like me. When I was younger, I just believed because I did good things or did the right things or just went and did the motions that I was good to go. But that's not true. Like, God has commissioned all of us with a purpose and to purpose ourselves within, right? I just can't call myself a Christian and just that's it and then I'm done. I have this purpose inside of me that needs to be different, that needs to apply with action so I can go out and do what God has called me to do. Daniel only remained true to God because he made a commitment early in his life to God, right? We have to make commitments now of our purpose. We have to commit to our purpose today. We can't wait any longer. We can't wait when we're older. We can't wait when X, Y, and Z, when the pandemic is over. We commit our purpose to Christ right now. Make the same commitment today, a fresh start. We all need fresh purpose and to be reminded what our purpose is. And it's to do what God has called us to do so that his glory can be seen on this earth. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We love you. We miss you. If you need anything, please reach out. At the end of the month, on January 29th, on Friday, we have this thing called Real Night.
Come on.
How sick is it going to be?
It'll be great.
It's going to be so sick. We're going to have all kinds of stuff. We're going to have giveaways. You like giveaways?
Yeah.
Yeah. He loves giveaways. We're going to have a guest speaker, Blake Vandermark. He's awesome. It's going to be awesome. An online event. We're going to have youth worship, all kinds of stuff. Stay tuned right here into the channel on January 29th at 6 p.m., kicking off with a YouTube premiere. And then after, we're doing Zoom small groups. It's going to be awesome. More info is going to be flooding your feed about all this stuff. We love you guys. Have a great week.